They say men are from Mars and women are from Venus, but lately it feels like we're all stuck somewhere between Mercury and retrograde and a Wi-Fi dead zone. Welcome back to Bargain Brand Wellness, where self-care is on clearance and social norms are buy one, get one confusing. Tonight, we're unpacking the mental junk drawer of gender roles. What's outdated, what's overrated, and what still makes sense when the dishwasher's full and no one's owning up to it. Gender roles were designed centuries ago by people who didn't have indoor plumbing or Amazon Prime, and yet here we are, still arguing over who's supposed to take out the trash. Welcome to Wellness. Thank you all for being here. Love to see you. Love to see you. Channing, I see you over there on TikTok. Thanks for being here, buddy. What's up, Caden Scott? What's up, Huz? Gotta love the Huz, right? We're live on TikTok. We're live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. All right. Nice glasses. Thank you. I do like these pair. It's just a matter of hiding the wire, so you can't really see where it's plugged in. I got you, love twin. I hear you, Chan. You guys and your fancy lingo, you darn teenagers. We got a spicy episode for y'all this evening as we get into as you can tell by the title, Battle of the Sexes, right? Remix of the gender roles. What are you live on? Okay, you're on the TikTok. We're live here. We're also live on YouTube and Facebook. The YouTube is under the Bargain Brand Wellness YouTube, and then Facebook. It's through the Bargain Brand Wellness group, but it's just associated to my personal Facebook. So I appreciate the love for everybody who's here. I don't care where you join, as long as you're joining us. We have somewhat of a different setup today, so that we don't have any of the technical difficulties that we had on Monday. So we're hoping to not have to deal with that. So far, so good. Looks like, and maybe it's just on my end, I don't see anybody on YouTube yet. I know Danny was on YouTube on Monday. It almost looks like it was like about a minute behind, and I don't know why, because that's my main platform. Facebook's only like 4 or 5 seconds behind, but we'll play it by ear. We have a little bit of a different setup. Today we have a couple different computers running. We tend to forget to use this camera from time to time, but I did set up an additional camera just to give y'all kind of a third party view of what we're doing over here. But I don't know how often we'll use this camera. Maybe occasionally. We'll see. But glad to have you guys here. We're gonna we're just gonna kind of hang out for a couple minutes while we see if anybody else joins us before we get into our first segment. How's everybody's wonderful Wellness Wednesday? Hump Day, as some might call it. How my wellness warriors doing? My self-care connoisseurs. As we start to get into a flow here, we're gonna start working on some different things. I'd like to make this more interactive if we can. Maybe at some point be able to play some games. All right, that would be fun. I said it before. I think it was last week. I slept. I'm hopping on. I just got you on the YouTube, Love Twin. All right. Thanks, boys. Thanks for the love. That's fine. Yeah, you guys can hop over to YouTube if you want. Yeah, we're live over here. You can let me know if it's a little bit behind. But yeah, anyway, we're we're gonna do this for a couple months. Eventually, I'm gonna start reaching out and inviting guests. Don't really know what direction. Probably, kind of sticking with the wellness brand. It's behind like 10 seconds. What the YouTube is? Or the TikTok? I'm okay with 10 seconds. The YouTube is Bargain Brand Wellness. I said 2 different things. See, I love how teenagers answer you with two-part question with a yes. Is it 10 seconds on YouTube. If it's only 10 seconds behind on YouTube, that's awesome. To me, it looks like it's like a minute and a half behind. On YouTube, it's behind 10 seconds. Okay. Got you. Cool. Yeah, I don't know why mine makes it look like it's further behind, but that's okay. We're working with what we got, right? Let's get some little bit of tunes in the background. We got to worry about copyright stuff. So it's copyright free music, right? Nothing that you'd recognize, but a little bit of something, you know, in the background, especially when it's quiet. I don't want it too loud, but that should be good right there. Name of YouTube. I see Jay on here. Thanks for popping on for a second, buddy. Even if it's just for a couple minutes, I appreciate you guys popping on, showing love for Bargain Brand Wellness, right? Where self-care is on clearance. We're probably not FDA approved, right? But we like to make it worth your wellness. Thanks for the poop emoji, Jeremiah. Don't worry. Even though we talk about wellness on here, I won't embarrass you guys when I'm on here. Not like I do whenever I do training for work. For you guys, it's more relevant there. I won't embarrass you. Yeah. So thank you all for being here. We're gonna get ready to, in just another second, we're gonna hop on to our first topic, which is gonna be on part of this gender war / battle of the sexes, if you want to call it. I'm hoping some of our lady friends hop on here. Yeah, we've been getting a lot of our them over on Facebook to have a various perspective what we're doing here. For any of you first-time listeners on here, we do about an hour show with anything and everything related to wellness. We're live. We're interacting with 3 different chats, right? While our audience is small, we interact with every chat that we see. As our audience grows, obviously, that may not always be the case, but for now, that's what we're going to be aiming for. Joey, I see you popped over up on TikTok. Thanks for being here, buddy. But anyway, so yeah, we do about an hour on here. You know, we record. We're recording the whole thing, so you can find the whole episode on YouTube after we're done. I just have to go in and trim out that kind of 15-minute starting soon scene. But separately, we record 3 clips. Well, technically 4 clips from within the episode. 3 of which are kind of made into smaller videos of their own to feed into the YouTube algorithm. And the last is our off-brand thought, where it's kind of our hot take on that specific topic of the evening. Some days will be our topics will all be related, but there might be other days where I might have 3 separate topics that aren't totally related. We'll kind of play it by ear, see what we do. Safer over here on TikTok. You got lights on them glasses? Yeah, it comes. There's a wire that attaches and runs down to a little pack here. I can make them blink. Right, I don't know how well you can see that, and then I can have a slow blink, and then they go off. Yeah, these ones are pretty good. I can't remember where I got. I might have got these on Amazon. I don't think these were a Temu purchase. The only thing is, when I turn them on, I hear a little ringing. Like, you know how you get like that little ringing in your ear? I hear it the whole time. So that's where the music in the background it kind of helps. Hopefully your beverage of choice, right, to kind of settle in for the evening. I've been trying to get in the habit of drinking, chamomile tea, sleepy time tea to kind of get me ready for, Betty Bye. I don't stay up late. Once we get done here, I pretty much kind of wrap up and I'm in the bed for the evening. But yeah, we're having a good time over here. Everyone, I'm in this hoe. Nice to have you here, Kate. How does can you see out of, yeah, I can see out of them. Yeah, I can see just fine out of them. How does my microphone sound? Because I have 2 different microphones. One, is everything coming across clear, with what we're saying? I haven't heard really anybody say anything, so I'm assuming We're sounding pretty good. It's good on both ends. Thank you, Caden. Appreciate it. Cool. All right, so we're going to get ready to go ahead and get into our first topic. These are about like 3 to 4 minute kind of clips. I'm kind of recording it, so I'm not really interacting with chat while we're doing that. But any comments you guys want to throw in the chat, as soon as we're done recording this short segment, I'll kind of come back and interact with whatever you guys put out there. So that being said, let's get into our first topic. Woo! Let's start where the gender wars often begin. Chores. Yeah, the battlefield of who folds the towels, who mows the lawn, and who gets conveniently bad at dishes right around dinner time. Because somewhere along the way, being a man got tied to grills and gutters, and being a man came with a lifetime subscription to emotional labor and Pinterest-worthy lunches. So let's unpack this job description nobody applied for and figure out what makes a task manly besides grunting while you do it. Mowing the lawn, but not touching the towels. Why do we still assign gender to tasks that don't have a biological requirement? No one is born with grill tongs in their hand or genetic inability to fold bath towels. These expectations come from social modeling. Dad does the yard, mom does the laundry, and they stick around like bad Wi-Fi. When talking about the gender job jar, many households still divide chores based on tradition rather than skill, interest, or practicality. Kids absorb it early. Why does mommy cook dinner and daddy fix the car? It becomes the unspoken blueprint for adulthood. It also sets up resentment when people grow up and realize the division isn't actually fair or fulfilling. Modern families are increasing. Right? The wrong button over here. Modern families are increasingly flipping the script. Stay-at-home dads are more common, and women are dominating in trades and tech fields. Shout out to the men baking sourdough without making it a redemption arc. Shout out to the women building furniture without narrating it for Instagram. The weaponized incompetence of I don't know how to do that becomes a get out of responsibility card, especially when someone conveniently forgets how a dishwasher actually works. It's less about ability and more about expectation. If you mess it up just once, you'll never be asked again. Genius, but also a little shady. So is it tradition or simply a bad habit? Some traditions were built for survival in a different world. Others were built on hierarchy. Either way, they're worth questioning. If your reason for doing or not doing something starts with because that's how it's always been, that's your cue to check the expiration date. So we've unpacked who's supposed to do what, but what happens when someone steps outside the script? Welcome to the hypocrisy Olympics, where everyone's juggling double standards and nobody wins except maybe awkward silence and passive aggressive text messages. That is your bargain brand wellness take. Right. We did that thing. This isn't Aura. This guy's a clip farmer. What does that mean? Who's Chad? Peace out, Pap. You got some. Thanks for stopping by, Channing. I got you on my phone PC. It's clear. Who are you calling a clip farmer over there? Huh? Don't be a hater. Haters gonna hate. Who's Chad? I don't know who Chad is. Yeah, I don't know anybody by that name of Chad. Appreciate the love. Appreciate y'all for popping in. Those of you who are hanging around. Tyler Broadwater, thank you for sharing the live. Thank you for stopping by and giving us a like. In the words of Caden Twig, love to all the huzz. This isn't where you, buddy. I know. We're a little quiet over on Facebook. Any of y'all over there? I see. To me, it looks like we got one person. Or I don't know if it's still Yoast or. Last I saw was 12 minutes ago. I got a. Let me hit the refresh. Maybe we got some comments over that we didn't know. Nope, nothing over there. That's all right. We'll take them where we get them. Thank you all for being here today. Appreciate the love. Right. We it's interesting. We talk about these kind of gender roles of who does what, right? And I use the title "Battle of the Sexes" as kind of like clickbait a little bit, if I'm going to be honest, to try to get people in here. It's not really saying like men have to do all this and women don't have to do nothing. That wasn't really the point. Other than, it does seem like there's some things to where it's not politically correct to call something a woman's job, right? Which, such as the, got the zero turn mower. Can't wait to start mowing. I always wanted a zero turn, but I have a big hill, so I just do a push mower there, bud. So you take something like, what's known as, or what used to be known as the woman's job, cooking, cleaning, laundry, staying at home with the kids, right? Things that are not okay to say that is a woman's job. And let's be realistic. A lot of these things still are a woman's job. We just don't like saying it. That's not my point. My point is we're not allowed to say that. But yet we can still call certain things a man's job. Taking out the trash, cooking on a grill, cleaning out the gutters, mowing the lawn. A shared responsibility, mind you. I'm just looking at, there is a slight hypocrisy, that we can still call something a man's job, but not call it a woman's job. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm putting out there. So, just something to maybe kind of keep in mind as we're kind of going through. Just a thought. I do like this little no copyright or copyright-free playlist. It's by the Relax Movement on YouTube. You ever want to check them out? Copyright-free music. It's 12 hours. Has several videos. I just have the one that I've been kind of playing on loop. Different types of music. Right, this one almost feels more like a like a jazz or lounge music a little bit. Not really my vibe, but just having something in the background, I'm cool with. I usually like, electric, synthwave type music kind of in the background, but I don't know if that really kind of fits the vibe we're doing here, but who knows? Maybe it does with these glasses. I don't mind taking out the trash as a man job, but please make laundry a woman's job. I hear you, buddy. Here's the thing. I actually don't mind doing the laundry. Sometimes I like doing my own laundry. I live in a house of grown boys, and in the past I've our socks have gotten mixed up, and I can't stand it when I can't find a sock, the matching sock. That drives me crazy. So I actually like doing my own laundry a lot of the times. Tyler, thanks you for the 20 roses. Appreciate it. Love you too. Don't quite know what the different things. What we were doing TikTok live before, we kept getting all these different items. I honestly don't know what they're all for, but I appreciate any gifts that people want to give us over there. Hello, Ashley Marine. Thanks for being on here. How's your husband doing after his blonde moment earlier today? I kind of had a feeling right away. I knew exactly what was wrong with his car. You gotta laugh at it. I told him, I was like, you're laughing you're kind of like, duh, but at the same time, you're like, man, that just saved me a couple $100, because if it was something wrong, it would have cost me $200-300 easy. So Tyler is a real one. He is a real one. I don't even know how you do gifts on TikTok. Maybe I should probably learn into that if we're going to be doing this. I said, I know we were doing, like I said, I know we were doing it before over on, when we were doing the Brothers Chatter TikTok live. And, we'd get all these likes, we'd get some gifts, some diamonds, and I don't even know what else. And, we would get like 20-something cents or something like that. Like, I don't quite know how that translates over the currency or whatnot. Thank you all for hitting the like button over on the TikTok. I see we got, on my end, it looks like we're up to around 5,500 likes. Appreciate that. We got the one gift. We've had several viewers. John, you're a real one for that, bro. Who's John? I didn't see it. John, man. I don't know who John is. But I almost cried. Yeah, it's enough to just kind of, if you had a bad day, it's enough to make your day just a little bit better. Ow. Is that his name? You guys and your nicknames. Makes zero sense. But we're, anyone who's just joining us, we're getting into, we title this Battle of the Sexes. We're over here having a good time. Right, we just kind of talked about, what's the difference, or who decided what is considered a man's job, who decided what's a woman's job, right? It's a messed up world we're living in. A lot of these things are very outdated, maybe needs to go away. Let's go, Wilma, whoever Wilma is. Scoobs, thanks for the gift, thanks for the 76 roses. My boy Myers, right? He followed me, and so I followed him back. I've been seeing your lives on show up on TikTok. I haven't had a chance to pop in because it was like just for a quick second, but yeah, appreciate you stopping by, brother. Men decided in the old days. I mean, you have a point, actually. So I'm glad you're on here, so we kind of get a woman's perspective on this. Men decided in the old days. I mean, you got to figure it was a patriarchy. So if anybody made the rules, we're to blame. Kind of the one question that I kind of have, and I don't know if we really want to dive into this quite yet. I was kind of hoping we'd have a few more people on here. Is where we're at now. Is it better now, right? With dual income, shared responsibilities. Right. But also, if I'm being honest, it feels like a lot of resentment in some relationships. Not all. Some relationships are great at balancing the load. But a lot of people still struggle with it. Is it better now? Or was it better 60 years ago? Right? Not that I'm suggesting we go back to where, the man ran everything. Right? The women... She obeyed her husband, right? I don't know if that's maybe still the way things should be. Maybe they should. Maybe they shouldn't. I don't know. I'm just asking. I mean, is it better now versus decades ago? It's just something to kind of keep in mind. Danny G, thank you for popping in and sharing the live on TikTok. Thanks for being here, my brother from the same mother. We're glad to have you on. We love you. I'm just saying, right? It's something that gets you thinking a little bit, right? These roles we kind of get sucked into, right? I think in my household, I'm not a bad cook, right? And I'll tell anyone that. I mean, I can cook you something. In fact, you tell me what to cook, I'll cook you a decent meal. I make a mean chicken marsala. Anybody like chicken marsala? I got you. I don't obey anyone. That's just me. Listen, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's, like I said, that's not necessarily what I'm suggesting. Like, what I mean is, going back to a time when, if we ever could survive off of a single income in one household, right? Let's say it's the man. The man is the one who goes to work, does a job, breadwinner, provides for his family. And the mom, right? The mom is that homemaker, right? That person who takes care of the kids, raises the kids right, makes a house a home, right? And listen, shout out to all women, because most of you are still great at making a house a home while also still going out and working just as many hours as men, if not more. So once again, I'm not throwing any hate that men are superior and women are worse. Myers, you're opening up a whole can of worms with that question. Scoob said, should WNBA and NBA salary be similar? Definitely a little bit different than what we're kind of talking about here. I'm not an NBA fan, but no, they shouldn't be. I think the argument always comes back to, you get paid based off of how much money you bring in. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not a fan of WNBA, but in their defense, I don't really watch the NBA anymore. I probably haven't watched the NBA in over a decade. Danny says she's lying. I don't know, Danny. You always say that Ashley's got more bark than bite, but I'm pretty sure she runs that household, Ashley. I got you. Our household is everyone's responsibility. No man's job, no women's job. See, Danny. She keeps it together. She keeps you in check. Somebody's got to. Listen, I told her a long time ago when you two got married, you are officially and legally deemed by the state of Maryland officially her problem. But she, you know what? She took it in stride. She's dealt with you ever since. That's a real one right there. You can't do that anymore within the middle class. I assume you're talking about, a single income household. Yeah, we've kind of done it to ourselves. I don't know many people, unless you're, not middle class, you're making some good money. You could never, you could never survive off of a single income household, right? And plus, even if you could, we've become so accustomed to the extra stuff we have in our life. We would need either the woman would need to go to work, or we'd have to pull up a second job just to afford those things. I mean, you can, but good luck having extra money. Yeah, exactly. NBA going downhill, not gonna lie. Nobody should get paid all that money to play sports. I kind of agree with that. I mean, I can't really tell people what to do with their money, but I definitely agree with. I think these guys are paid way too much. They're spoiled. But you know what? They're bringing in the money, so who am I to really say otherwise? Right? Women's ball and softball. Mid. Especially softball. Yeah, definitely. Caden Twig says, I love your cooking. Thank you, buddy. I thank you for saying that. Not enough people tell me that. But I mean, I kind of got off topic there. So anyway, I was saying that, in my household, right, my wife does most of the cooking, right? As most people who know us know. She can just throw together a meal. She's been taking care of people since she was, 12, 13 years old. I can cook. I'm a decent cook, but I'm more of a planner, right? I got to kind of know what I'm cooking. Got to be able to go to the market and have my stuff pulled out. Yeah, I'll cook you a good dinner, but it's not going to be just that throw together thing. I mean, I can do it occasionally, but I struggle with it. And I'm just one of those people, if I'm not enjoying it, I don't want to do it. I like enjoying life. Screw me. Mental health from sports is a real bad issue. Channing, I agree. We put a lot of pressure on athletes. All right, so maybe they do. I mean, thinking of it from that term, maybe they do deserve the money they get. They're out in the public, little privacy, just no different than any Hollywood celebrity. Make me some food. I got you, Danielle. I'll cook you some barbecue chicken. Right. Or how about on Sunday? It's Easter dinner. We'll tell everyone that I cooked, but we know who's really going to be doing the cooking. All pro sports, dabbling into politics too much. I do agree with that. It's not a place to, it's not a place to really kind of put your politics out there, because you are influential, right? You know, and there's nothing wrong with sharing your thoughts on something, but if you're going to try to influence, you should do it with facts, not just your beliefs. So. All right, I just made that tonight. That's funny. I like good old barbecue chicken. Bone in or bone out? If I know you, it was bone out, because you don't like the bone. Yeah. And then, I mean, speaking of politics, I will say, I'm not saying we won't ever get a little political on here, but that's not my intent, is to ever really get super political on this. I'm kind of in the middle anymore. You know, I mean, obviously I lean more to the right, but I see both sides sometimes, so we don't really plan on getting too political on here, but we like having a good time, right? This is a wellness channel where we show love. Everyone's welcome, our friends, and those of you who are on here with us now, you're officially deemed our wellness warriors, our self-care connoisseurs. We love you. We want the best for you. We're not an expert, right? As most of you know, I'm not an expert on this. I'm well informed on a lot of things, which is why we're doing this. I like to share my knowledge with the rest of you. You can take it, you can leave it, you can throw it in the garbage, do whatever you want with it. But I like to at least give you all something to take with you, and I hope to learn something from you as well. So if you're joining us on YouTube, Facebook, or TikTok, right, we're here. Like I said, I'm interacting. I got chats coming in from all different directions, so I'm trying to interact with everything that we got going on. But yeah, we love you. We love you. Ashley says, I can honestly say when Danny worked for the state, I had Caleb by myself, a lot with Danny working overtime and evening shifts. I worked full-time, came home, took Caleb to baseball. I could never be a stay-at-home mom. Nowadays, see more. Nowadays, you need a village. I was lucky I had my in-laws and my mom. Oh, family is huge. I mean, we all know that. Family's big when you have that extra support, especially working, you know, the types of job that Danny and myself used to do. You never knew when you were going home, right? Is that even a question? Timmy knows boneless. I know it was, but I figured. I don't know. I get it, but I still like the bone in. It just adds so much more flavor. Plus, I'm a dark meat type of guy, so. You're joining in the shower, Caden. TMI. Little strange, but thank you for being here. No, they don't. There's way more high pressure jobs. Danny, I mean, I agree with you. There are more high pressure jobs, but I mean, to perform at that level, right? I mean, think of all the great athletes you've ever seen in your life that aren't even the greatest, right? You know, I mean, of I don't even want to say goats, but, you know, didn't even really, I don't want to say make it in the profession, right? It is a high pressure job. I mean, so I definitely see the mental health side of it as well. It takes a lot to be on your A game like that every day, or quite often. Just an example, people on oil rigs deserve way more money than athletes. I mean, I agree. I don't know what, I think people on oil rigs make some decent money, don't they? I don't know what they make, but I mean, I guess really the question is who's the one paying them? I mean, those oil companies are pocketing a lot of it, but they need someone to drive the oil rig, right? Can you really compare those two? I mean, oil rig, you know, that's a necessity. We need oil to live because we use it for so much stuff. Sports is entertainment, and we love our entertainment, right? What would we do without it? We can sit here. Here's the thing. We can sit here and say that, and this is kind of off topic, but we can sit here and say that athletes make too much money, yet we still pay to watch them. We still pay to go to these games. We think the price is ridiculous, but we don't stop. We still keep paying it, right? We buy jerseys. We buy hats. We buy memorabilia. We still buy those things no matter how expensive it is. So, I'm not saying all, but like big leaguers that are just mid don't deserve multi-million contracts. I mean, I agree. We saw that with some of these free agent NFL signings in the offseason. I see some of these quarterbacks that are making millions of dollars to not even play. It's crazy, but hey, they've got the money to throw at them, so you never know. All right, so we're having a good time. We've recorded our first topic. We're getting ready to get into our next one here in just a moment. I think I forgot to hit stop recording on the last one, so I think it just recorded like the last half hour, but that's all right. I'll trim it down. I could have sworn I hit the button, but yeah. So we're talking about gender roles. Got off topic. My bad. Hey, that's all right. Hey, I appreciate the interaction. I'd rather have that than nothing. So I don't pay to watch them per se. I know. I'm thinking about getting one of those boxes. I'm just hesitant. I feel like my luck, I'm gonna get one of those boxes, and then all of a sudden they're not gonna be any good anymore. So. Dan, I think I saw that a little bit ago. Thank you for the rose. Appreciate you. Appreciate the love. So we're in gender roles. We're kind of talking about that a little bit. Who does what around the home. We're gonna get ready to get into our second part of the topic, which kind of still fits into that realm of who does what. So we're gonna start recording, as I said before, when I'm doing these little recordings of like 3 to 4-ish minutes. Not really interacting with chat, but feel free to throw stuff in the chat based off of what we're talking about. And then as soon as we're done recording that short segment, we'll get into it. Bossy versus bold. Assertiveness is applauded in men, but critiqued in women as too aggressive, intimidating, or bitchy. Flip the genders on a workplace scenario, and suddenly the exact same behavior has wildly different labels. It's not just annoying, it limits who gets the lead and how they're perceived when they do. When talking about the dad versus the dad bonus versus the mom expectation. A dad takes his kid to the grocery store and gets praised just like he adopted an entire orphanage. Meanwhile, a mom doing the same isn't questioned if the kid's hair isn't brushed. We've normalized different bars of performance, and it messes with how we evaluate parenting and ourselves. When talking about the emotional labor ledger, who plans a birthday party? Who keeps track of dentist appointments? Who buys the thank you gifts? This is stuff that doesn't show up on chore charts, but absolutely takes up mental bandwidth. Often invisible, often underappreciated, and often falling to women by default. However, men have emotions too, but just don't say them out loud. Boys are still socialized to toughen up and man up. And that emotional bottling creates a culture of silence and burnout. Vulnerability isn't a weakness, but many men were never taught how to express it without shame. The result, emotional needs go unmet and the cycle repeats. So is it really that bad if we just asked each other what we need? Instead of making assumptions and resentment, what if we just asked, what do you need help with around the house? A little clarity can go a long way. And most double standards fall apart when we trade blame for collaboration. So we've decoded the double standards, but what if the problem isn't just society's expectations? What if it's the fact that nobody knows what the rules even are anymore? We're going to talk about confusion, contradiction, and how to have actual human conversations in our next segment. But in the meantime, make it worth your wellness. Did that. Mic drop. Ashley says it's sickening because teachers should honestly make so much more than they do. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've all talked about before about the wage gap issues with education. It's pretty sad. Let me use a big word for you. It's pretty abhorrent. Anybody spell abhorrent? Yeah, it is pretty sad. And that's, I mean, that's not necessarily a gender thing. That's men or women teachers. Our education system is hugely flawed. I know, our Department of Education or whatever education we have left is hopefully being reassembled, reformatted, refurbished. I don't know about refurbished, but, definitely there's improvements we can make. Ashley says, why do I need to tell someone what needs done around the house when you live there too? And honestly, I kind of felt like that was coming. And I hear you, Ashley. I hear you, right? You live here too. I can't help but kind of laugh because I'm hearing you. I'm literally hearing you say this out loud. You're right. Why do I need to say it when you live here too? You can see the dishwasher needs empty. You see that trash needs taken down. You see the vacuum needs ran. Why do I have to tell you to do it? I don't know if I can speak for all men, but I can speak for some men. I'll speak for myself. For me, I know that as the woman, you take pride in your home. Not that we don't. You take pride in your home. How you run your home or how your home looks when guests come in is what people think of you. If your house is chaos, your life is chaos. That's what's kind of projected on women, right? With that being said, I don't know what your priorities are. I can look around, and maybe this is coming from someone who has ADHD. I try not to lean on that too much. I'm just saying this is how my mind works. I can see 20 or 30 things need done. I don't know where you want me to start. That's why I'll tell me what you need. Tell me what you need. I'll gladly do it. If anything else, it's kind of switching the roles. It's almost like it's putting you in charge. You're the boss. That's all we're asking. Tell me. I've said numerous times, give me a honey-do list. I will check off every box on there. I just need you to give me a list and I will get it done. You knew it was coming from me, LOL. Big facts. A woman is a bitch and a man is a leader. Fathers have no idea how much a mother does without even thinking about it. Agreed. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how naturally it comes to most women. I mean, we assume from our end it just comes naturally to you. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's something you've also had to develop. Right. But I do agree with, especially in leadership, an assertive woman is seen as a bitch. Right. Assertive man is seen as, hey, don't mess with him. Not necessarily a condescending term. She ain't talking about me, just saying. Let's make that clear. You know what I love? I love how you all are both in two separate chats. That's what I think is funny. Ashley's over here on Facebook and Danny's over here on TikTok. Don't worry, Ashley. We know who wears the pants in this family. I've been sitting here thinking how funny that is. You two are in separate chats. As a working mother and a wife, it's mentally and physically exhausting. We often put ourselves last. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. Right? A lot of moms, working mothers, working wives, right? That's your life, and to get a little therapeutic on you, if you were to sit down and think, deep down yourself, removing all the labels that are attached to you, mother, daughter, wife, sister, daughter, aunt, remove all those labels that are thrown on you. Who are you? Who are you? Sit back, think about that one for a second. If you tear up, that's okay. Because the same thing applies to men, right? The first time my therapist talked to me about this, take all those roles, all those labels that I've either given myself or society gives me. Who am I? For some of us, your answer is going to be, I don't know. I don't know. That's okay. You're not alone. You're really not alone, because that's a lot of us. That really is. Danny does not do honey-do list. He would intentionally not do it. That's because he's just rebellious. That's that middle child syndrome. He's he might want to do it, but if you told him to do it, now he's not going to do it just because you told him to do it. See, that's why him and I are total opposites. Right? We're the complete opposite. I want you to tell me. I will gladly do your honey-do list. Unless it's like unreasonably long. Like, well, what the hell are you doing? And we're sitting right beside each other. I think that makes it even funnier. As you guys are sitting right next to each other. So. Yeah. Think about that one. Who are you? If you take away all those roles you put on yourself. And like I said, this applies to men too. Right? It applies to all of us. Right? We're in this together. Right? But a lot of love for all my friends. It actually says, I am mentally chaotic with a cluttered home that now has a workbook to work out of from my therapist. Let me make sure I'm reading. I am mentally chaotic with a cluttered home that now has a workbook to work out from my therapist. So your therapist gave you a workbook. What, like a journal type thing? Listen, I like journals for people who can use them. I tried. I have 2 journals sitting right here. I tried to use, or actually, I had 3. I had 3 different journals. They're just sitting there. I really couldn't. I'm not a journaler. As much as I like it, as much as I want to, I'm not a journaler. But that's who I am. LOL. Oh, okay. That's who you are. Okay. That's what worked before. Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah. It's tough. It's not always, life is tough. It's easier if we work together, not against each other. Right? We're not, and I mean, we're not really giving like, relationship advice here or anything like that. I mean, that's not what we do over here. But a lot of what kind of fills in with these gender roles kind of does go into your home. Yeah, I mean, let's work together, right? Because resentment, I mean, let's put it this way, and I tell people this one all the time. There's no relationship in your life that doesn't have at least some form of resentment, right? Not everything between you and that other person, as much as you might love each other and as much as you two might get along, it has not always been kosher between the two of you. There has been an issue where you've either been slightly irritated with them or they've been slightly irritated with you, in the least, but possibly more. Good chance you've had an argument with that person, which is totally fine. But because of that resentment we have, it's important to communicate and work through it. I don't know. I'm a mother. That's my priority. That's my life purpose. Take that away and I don't know. And listen, Ashley, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, right? That's how we roll with our roles. Get it? Like the pun on, pun I threw in there. Right? Nothing wrong with that. But it's just something to kind of get us thinking is if you take those things away from me, then who am I? And like I said, I don't know. And that's okay. That's okay. Just understand that at some point, the role that you're in now will no longer be in existence. So, as a mother, you're always going to be a mom. But at some point, if you're raising your children right, you're going to raise them to be an independent person, to raise a family of their own. And I'm not going to say they won't ever need you, but good chance they're going to need you a little bit less and less each and every day because they're dependent. They're now taking care of themselves. So that role, you're still that person, but it's not used as frequently, right? Now we go from mother to grandmother or father to grandfather, totally 2 separate roles, right? Some people jump into that and they love it and they enjoy it. Others kind of stand back and be like, yeah, no, I did my thing. I raised my kids. I'm going to go live my life. And that's fine. No judgment, no shade. Do your thing. Just understand that all good things come to an end at some point, right? No matter how much you want it to stay. Once again, I just want to show some love. Everybody's in here. Everybody's who's been popping in over on TikTok. We've got up to almost 10,000 likes. Appreciate the love. We've gotten some gifts. We got some roses. I appreciate that. Once again, I don't know how to translate that currency for roses. I don't even know if they're worth it. It might not even be worth anything. I don't know. But thank you for the gifts. We appreciate it. We're having a good time. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook as well. I think we addressed our little bit of a technical issue. We had to run 2 different devices to fix it, but hey, it works for me if it works for you. So we're doing our thing over here. We have an account on Twitch, right? For any of you who don't know what Twitch is a gaming channel where people go and watch people stream. It's typically a video game streaming channel, but which I'll be honest, never really kind of been my thing. Nothing wrong with it, but just never really been my thing. But they do have a just chatting section. I never really kind of checked it out though. What you playing, Unk? We're kind of just in the midst of saying that. Yeah, we don't play video games over here. It's not that I wouldn't stream video games. I don't have the time to play them. I do this for about an hour. Yeah, unfortunately, we're not playing anything. This is Bargain Brand Wellness. This is a wellness channel where we're just kind of talking. We're interacting, and we're having go. Oh, it's Mello. What's up, Mello? I was wondering who Relatable was. Thanks for popping on. Yeah, we're not playing any games over here. This is just a wellness channel that I started up. We've been doing this now for, I think this is our 3rd week already. We're just over here. We talk about anything wellness. I understand it now. Channing sent me in. Appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. And thanks for popping in. Thanks for any likes you sent our way. Hey, feel free to stop in anytime you want to. Good. He's playing with your heart. There you go. That's a good one, Joey. Anybody on YouTube? Yeah, we Caden was over there. Danielle was over there. I don't know if she's still on, and Ashley Boer's over there as well. So yeah, we got people kind of everywhere a little bit. Not a lot. We're slowly kind of gaining. But as I was saying, we might consider just we have an account, but I don't know how much people really kind of check out the just chatting over there. So that one's kind of on hold. We'll kind of stick to these 3 because that is, if we do start growing, it's going to be really hard for me to monitor 4 channels, let alone 3. At some point, we'll have to get to a point where I can start really kind of bringing the chats together. Yeah, Ashley says that scares the fuck out of me. That's all right. We can cuss a little bit on here. We try not to, but we'll keep it real when it needs to be real. We'll say that. What life looks like when they don't need me anymore. Who am I then? Right? It's scary. It really is. I mean, I know. I think your daughters are still pretty young, so they're still going to need you for a little while. But yeah, I mean, that day's going to come, and I don't say that to scare anybody. I just say that to make it more real for people to understand. There's going to come that point. It prepares you for it a little bit more. So Caden Twig says he's still on here. Thanks for being on here, buddy. I appreciate you. So yeah, it's scary. No, find out who you are, and for our youngins on here, you know, that are hanging out. You know, these are some of the things that we worry about as adults, right? Not to say you teenagers don't have your own concerns. I couldn't imagine being a teenager in today's world. I really couldn't. With social media and all the stuff and the image that you all have to put out there. Being a teenager was tough when I was a teenager, and that was 25 years ago. Man, I'm getting old. 25 years ago. Man, that just hit me. Whew, I'm 42. 25 years ago, I was 17. What year is it? Yeah, it's 2025. Almost 25 years ago, I was in school. I don't like that TikTok does that it tries to kick me off. I guess if I'm not typing anything. I mean, I'm sitting here talking. I'm sitting here interacting. I assume my mic's still on if y'all were interacting with me, so that was kind of weird. But yeah. 10,000 likes. Did we hit the 10,000 like mark? Thank you all for popping in here on TikTok, getting us to 10,000 likes. Definitely appreciate it. which one do I prefer streaming on? Ultimately, I think YouTube is kind of where I want to be. I know Facebook Live isn't super big, right? I know people use it, but it's not as big as YouTube or Twitch or even really TikTok for that matter. But the main reason I'm really doing Facebook is because it's through my personal Facebook. So people who I know that want to come in and join, that might be the easiest place for some of them. Like my mom, I don't think she's popped on today, but she's popped on every other stream. That's gonna be her place to join. I think she can on YouTube, but yeah, YouTube's kind of my preference. I do like TikTok as well. TikTok Live it's slowly growing. You know, like I'm sitting here talking about getting 10,000 likes, and it's quite an accomplishment. But one person could do that just by keep hitting the like button. So I do appreciate you all getting that. But yeah, I think YouTube is ultimately where I like to be. But I think we'll keep streaming on multiple platforms. So yeah, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, whatever your preferences is. Like I said, we might check out Twitch just to see if we can gain an audience. But we're going to kind of just keep that on hold for now. And I see y'all got us to 11,000 likes just like that over on TikTok. I appreciate it. Same thing happened during our live on that other show. Hey, I said it earlier. I'll say it once per stream. I said it earlier before you popped on. I named it. Yeah, I don't know what they need me to do to be active on here. I'm not actively typing in chat on TikTok. Ashley says, going through that now, having a 19-year-old, having Caleb when I was young, now I'm trying to find me now. I mean, fortunately, he still lives with you. He's a good kid. You know, he's a good kid, but he's pretty independent, but he still needs his mom. He still needs his dad. But he's a good kid. Eventually, he's going to move out, though. It's just going to be you and Danny. You're going to be stuck with that bump on a log. No, you guys are a good pair. You guys have been through a lot together, and you guys have stuck through it. I'm proud of you both. Much love. All right. Happy for you both. I don't want to say much more than that because I feel myself tearing up a little bit. Well, good, because here I am, LOL. Yeah, I saw you on here on YouTube the other day, Ashley, but definitely whatever you prefer. I mean, if TikTok, YouTube, or Facebook, whichever one. I appreciate having everybody on here. I'm gonna lie, you guys have not disappointed me. This has definitely been better than just me talking to myself for an hour while we're recording. So, with that being said, we got so much talking going on. It's getting close to 9:30. We need to do our third and final segment, which we'll get into. I like Facebook for the event reminder, though. I would definitely forget if it wasn't for Facebook, right? And that's why, because I created that group. So I mean, the only other thing I could really do over there is we create the reminder on Facebook for the group, but it's linked to the YouTube. Most people have a smartphone nowadays. Most people have Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok on this. So we could eventually, if we needed to, just put link the live to that event, and when you click on it, you're not on Facebook Live. It would take you straight to YouTube. But like I said, for the meantime, we'll kind of stick to where we're at right now. Joey Twigs, our #1 liker on TikTok, and I've got all my #1 supporters on here with us so far, which I definitely appreciate. But yeah, without that being said, let's get into our final segment. Be sensitive, but not soft. Hot, but not high maintenance. We've reached a point where expectations are paradoxical. Men should open up, but not too much. Women should be empowered, but still be modest. The result? Constant performance anxiety. You're always too much or not enough, depending on who's watching. When people step outside the roles, a man working in early childhood education, cue the suspicious glances. A woman in construction, cue the assumption that she's trying to prove something, or that she's in the ladies. Society says be yourself, but only if that self fits the brand that we've approved. The traditional doesn't always mean better. People often defend gender roles as what's always worked, but history is full of things that worked while being wildly unequal. Instead of choosing roles based on gender, what if we chose them based on preference, skill, and mutual respect? So stop arguing and start talking. If gender roles are stressing your household, your relationship, or your brain, talk about it. Conversations don't have to turn into arguments if they start from a place of curiosity instead of control. Tools like shared calendars, chore swaps, honey-do list, and check-ins can turn stress into strategy. And with that being said, thanks for being here, my wellness warriors. Make it worth your wellness. Bam. We did that thing. That we did. What's up, fam? Hey, Charles Winfield. Thanks for being on here, buddy. Thanks for popping in. We're actually starting to wrap up for the evening as we get into the talk of the battle of the sexes, right? Gender roles, who does what. Conversation you and I have had before. Love you too, buddy. Love you too, Charles. Hope you're doing well. Next time I'm down your way, I'll hit you up. We'll get dinner again if you're down for it. I don't know when. I'm not gonna be down that way for a while, but when next time I'm down that way, I'll hit you up. Next live, can you end with the magic trick? I see the deck of cards, right? I knew someone was eventually gonna say something. I thought about doing that with magic tricks. I'm not a magician by any means. I'm not a card artist either. I realized, I like to. I got to do something with my hands. And I can talk with my hands a little bit, but I got a microphone right here that I'm not trying to hit. So my kind of fidget is I shuffle cards while I'm sitting here talking to you guys. It kind of helps keep me focused on what I'm doing. It's something that I've done for years, and I didn't even realize that it was my own little fidget. So eventually I broke down and bought a deck of cards that I keep at work in my desk drawer. From when I'm in those really intense meetings, not intense meetings, but just emotionally draining meetings, it can kind of help keep me focused a little bit while I take some deep breaths. Yeah, Korean barbecue. That was a good Korean barbecue. It was good. What was bulgogi? Bulgogi, is that what we had? Good luck spelling that, but it was good. It was good. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Maybe that's what we'll use. See, I didn't even go there. Maybe that's what we'll use this camera for. Maybe I'll kind of pull it out, kind of have it pointed down towards me. You guys can see me do a card trick in front of you guys while we're doing our live. There we go. All right, real quick, we're gonna wrap up, or we're gonna record. We're gonna wrap up here shortly, but we're gonna record our bulgogi. There we go, bulgogi. I was close. Is that what I said? It's pretty good. If you've never had Korean barbecue, it's those ones where they bring the stuff out to you and kind of cook it right in front of you and eat it. It was really good. It was filling. You know what's great about those Asian cuisines is it's not a whole lot of food. If you sat it down in one bowl and ate it in front of you, you'd still be hungry. But you take your time eating it and converse. And that's what I love about Asian cuisine. The atmosphere was cool, and my friend Charles, the company, was great. So yeah, next time I'm down your way, we'll hit it up. We can do that. We can do whatever you want to do. So we're gonna record our last official segment, right? Those are our 3 topics we got into today. Our last one is our off-brand topic, our off-brand thoughts, which is kind of our hot take on kind of everything we've been talking about. Might be a little bit controversial at times. As of right now, these off-brand thoughts are being uploaded as a TikTok video that I kind of edit down. They're about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes long. I will say I've done a couple of them. They're not getting a lot of engagement on TikTok. And I'm posting them on my personal TikTok page. And then like 12 hours or a day later, I'm also posting them on my Bargain Brand Wellness TikTok page. If you happen to come across one or get onto one, if you don't mind, try to get the engagement up on those. Give it a like. In the past, a lot of my videos were getting engagement, but these last few have just really not been. Either my titles aren't all that great, my hashtags aren't all that great, or the content's not all that great. I'm hoping it's my titles and hashtags. I'm hoping y'all are liking the content. 12,000 likes on TikTok. Number one liker, which I'm going to go based off of the list, is Joseph Twig. Right? Followed by Caden Twig, I think. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. I can never see. Got my boy Maddox Twig popping on here. So many damn Twigs in our area, but ain't none of y'all related to each other. That's funny as hell. I got Joey Twig, Caden Twig, and Maddox Twig all on my live on TikTok right now, and ain't none of them related. There's so many Twigs around here. A Twig is taken over. Yeah, it is. It is. All right, let's get into, let's record this last part, and then we'll kind of give our closing segment. We spend so much time arguing over who should do what that we forget that most of us are just winging it anyway. Gender roles, they were made up by people who didn't have electricity, emotional awareness, or Google. Maybe it's time we stop defending them like sacred scrolls. If your great-great-grandfather didn't believe in indoor plumbing, maybe we don't need his opinion on the division of labor either. Maybe gender roles don't need to be equal, they just need to be agreed upon. If one person cooks and the other does yard work, that's fine. But if you're signing those roles because of what's between someone's legs instead of what's in their schedule and sanity level, you're not building a partnership, you're casting a sitcom. So whether you find your purpose in starting a business, making sourdough, or finally figuring out how the dryer lint trap works, congrats, you're doing your job. Just fold the damn fitted sheet and stop blaming gender for why you haven't tried. Make it worth your wellness. That's our off-brand thought of the day. Use your interpersonal effectiveness DBT skills. I knew Ashley'd bring in the DBT. Listen, you know me. I love DBT. Right? The triad of DBT. Keeping your relationships, right? Getting what you want. Maintaining your self-respect. Did I get it? Have to remove the lint out of the dryer or it will start a fire. You know what? And that actually reminds me. I need to do that this weekend. I can't tell you the last time I cleaned the lint out of the dryer. I guarantee it's packed in there. I guarantee it's packed in there. So, you guys have been great. I love you guys. You don't know how much I love you. You don't know how much I love the support. Love all you guys popping on here, right? On all of our platforms. Keep sharing the love, right? Tell your friends, tell your family, tell anybody who cares that Bargain Brand Wellness is the place to be on their Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings. That's kind of our standing schedule. I'm not saying it won't switch a little bit here and there, right? I do it every time I put a new load in the dryer. So Joey does do the laundry. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, our standing schedule is kind of our Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8:30s. Once again, not saying it won't change a little bit here and there, right? Especially as we start to bring on guests, you know, occasionally, right? Not right away, but we're eventually going to start bringing on guests, someone to kind of talk with us, right? Whatever guests we do, the topic's going to be based off of wellness, but kind of in their wheelhouse. Yo, my nephew, right? Or my son jumping on here to see his real dad. Appreciate you being here. I love you guys. Thank you guys for being on here. Do we see more gifts coming in? I'm sitting here using the wrong mouse. I don't know how to move any of this stuff. Hold on, there we go. Tyler Broadwater sent another 20 roses. I don't know what the roses do, guys, but I appreciate you sending them. I do appreciate it. Might be able to get to 15,000 likes. According to Maya, we're at 15,000 likes on TikTok. I don't know if that's impressive or not. It's impressive to me, considering we're kind of just now getting on here. So I appreciate the love. You got it? Did I get it, Ashley? Good. I know my DBT. I know my stuff. Good. All right, guys. Danny sent me 2 lightning bolts. All right. And Caleb just sent me another 20 roses. I appreciate that, guys. I don't know what they do. I really don't. But all gifts equal money for you. Depends on which gifts you get. All right. Well, I see more roses coming in. I do appreciate that. I don't know how much money it is, but I appreciate the love. I'm glad you guys are on here. We're having a good time. Friday's topic. What is Friday's topic? I already have the episode written. I just can't remember now. Oh, Friday. Actually, you're gonna want to be here Friday. We're gonna get into a little bit of DBT. We're gonna be talking mindfulness on Friday. All things mindfulness, which I love. I love I don't do it enough, to be honest, considering how much I love it. But yeah, that's gonna kind of be our topic on Friday. So if you're interested in that thing, we'll that's what we're gonna be talking about on Friday. We're gonna have a good time. I'll give you money for water in the training room. Joey, I'll take it. I'll take it. Right. You guys are too much. Thank you for all the gifts on TikTok. Danny, I knew that they were worth money. I just don't know how much. I don't know how much each thing is worth. So Tyler, it looks like you've given me a total of 70 roses. Right. I appreciate the love. I'm married, but I do appreciate the love. Right. I mean, I figured there were cents. I figured they're not like dollars upon dollars. I figured that, but which, I mean, you know, ideally, eventually, yeah, we'd like to monetize. Right. Ask Nova what the roses do. That's not a bad question. I don't have her pulled up. I'll just start bringing her. I do plan on bringing Nova in more often. Caleb is competing, is he? He ain't able to, though. I don't know. You guys got too much stuff going on. Just wait. Give me 2 minutes. You want to get me to give you 2 more minutes of talking? I mean, you guys don't have to throw your whole paychecks at me, but we're gonna wrap up here in just a couple more minutes. We got Caleb and Tyler over here on TikTok having a bidding war on who loves me more. Just so you know, I love you all the same. It's perfect timing because my chamomile tea got cold. Sitting here talking to all y'all. But it was worth it. And if I hadn't told you already, I've actually been doing pretty good. Tea, coffee. I don't put sugar, nothing. I just enjoy the taste of it. He's 18. Hit him up. I don't know what the hell. You guys are kind of talking to yourselves over there now. So we're going to wrap up. Give our little closing. I want you guys to just know again, I know I've said it 100 times already, but I love you. Thank you guys for being here. Let's dang, they giving you real money. My heart ain't able to compete. we're gonna close out here. Right, I gotta get to bed. I gotta get up early. Hit the gym. Right, tomorrow's leg day. Oof, wish me luck. So let's finish this out. Whether you're mowing the lawn, or you're a legend at it, or the laundry folding wizard in your house, or both, we hope tonight's remix gave you some laughs, some insights, and maybe permission to burn the outdated script. Let's stop asking what's a man's job, or what should women do, and start asking what works for us. Be bold, be balanced, be both. Hydrate, meditate, and speculate. And as always, make it worth your wellness. I love you guys, and I will see you next time.